All you have to do is close your eyes and listen.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 53 of TSGG Chat. I'm your host, Kevin Bork. With me this week is Kailey. Hey, Kailey.
Hey, everybody.
And Jake.
Howdy.
Welcome, Jake. You can watch us record this show live over at mixer.com/TSGG_online, or you can watch it at youtube.com/The Society on Friday. You can also get the audio version on YouTube and on all other major podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and more. Both versions post on Fridays, and they will always be free. You can be part of the show by writing in your questions or comments to tsggchat@gmail.com. And if you want to help us continue to grow, please consider becoming a Level 1 member at patreon.com/TSGG. For $1 a month, you will get early access to the ad-free version of this show on Thursdays, and we always answer Patreon member questions on the show first. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at TheSocialGG, at Kevin_Bork, at TSGG_Brett, at Shippy_D, at Guyon Gaming, and at Kailey Gardens. To stay up to date on recording times and all other info, or maybe you just want to say, hey.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Ladies and gentlemen, up first is the news of the week. This week, we've got a lot of E3 leaks coming out. People just trying to get in front of E3. Some people aren't even going to E3. But this is E3 week. Who's excited?
Yay!
I'm very excited.
Yes.
I'm ready to go.
We're going to be getting into our E3 predictions after the news. But first, we have Electronic Arts coming out on Twitter and letting us know that Sea of Solitude is coming out on July 5th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Which is just around the corner.
Yes. Actually, by the time you're hearing this, it will be available to you, I believe.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's July 5th.
Oh, yeah, you're
My bad.
we're in June still.
It's
Yeah, it's just
there's a
June.
month. Don't hit the fast forward too much.
Yeah. Not June 5th. July 5th. So Jake is very excited about this one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I think this was your most impressive game of last E3?
Well, I mean, sans, Cyberpunk. But yeah, this is probably one of the most anticipated games for me because it looks so different, unique, stunning. I've been following the lady who's been designing it. I wish I could give her name out, but forgot what it was. But I've been following her as she does updates, and it's been kind of a wild journey seeing the development so far. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this game looks really interesting.
It's all about emotions, and I guess probably about more darker emotions and how to cope with them. And
So for those that don't know what it is, give them a little bit of what the
Synopsis.
gameplay is like.
Well, you play as a girl who is slowly turning into a monster in a world that's being overrun by monsters, and it's basically just a sea. Hey, Chris! It's basically just a sea of many monsters, and you have to kind of walk around rooftops and move around on a really tiny boat and try to keep yourself from becoming said monsters as well, because you're slowly changing over time.
Right, the monster is the emotion.
Yeah, I think
Your emotion.
I think they're supposed to be like the epitome of emotions that you're experiencing during it.
Right, and so the world is probably inside your own head type of thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it seems
maybe.
like it's something. How long do you think that game's going to be? Probably 8-10 hours?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be super long. This is I mean, as much as it's made by a lot of Electronic Arts, it's also made by a very small studio, very indie studio.
I think it's going to be really good.
And these sort of games tend to be, like the ones that explore feelings and stuff tend to be shorter games.
Definitely.
By design.
Yeah. A lot of the times, though, it's like, I mean, as far as I've seen, like, usually with them, it's this is probably going to be more about the adventure itself and the journey. I don't know how I don't think there's going to be any actual combat. I don't think there's going to be anything like that. I think it's just kind of figuring out
More like
what's
a
going
puzzle?
on, yeah, and what's happening.
So this is the studio's Joe May Studios.
Yep.
Hey, Chris.
Is Cornelia Geppert.
Yep, that's her.
And we now know that it's coming out on July 5th.
Yeah. That was also
Day one for you?
probably.
Yeah.
That was also my prediction, was that it was going to be at E3, but I guess
That's one of your predictions?
Yeah, that was the first one, I'm pretty sure. That got
I think it's safe to say that it will definitely be there.
Yep,
with it
confirmed.
coming out on July 5th.
They're probably going to show a much more in-depth breakthrough of it, because I could be completely wrong about what I think it's going to be about, because they only showed one trailer and some images, so
Yeah.
for the most part this has been pretty much
I like what we saw at last E3, so
oh yeah, I got excited.
this was one, and the art style in it is fantastic. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I encourage you to go check it out.
Definitely.
That'll get you prepped for next month, which is
And also this week.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's also nice to see more games coming out throughout the summer, so it's not just income taxmas and holiday season.
Yep.
Get you a little something to get you through those long summer days,
Right.
which we've had nothing but rain, so who wants to be outside?
Rain and some crazy cold weather for today.
Which is why
All
I'm
right.
wearing a hoodie.
So we also had another reveal this week by Mr. Kojima
Oh my gosh.
and Kojima Productions and Sony PlayStation's account. They have a new tagline called "Tomorrow is in your hands." Death Stranding has a release date,
Oh.
November 8th
So
this
ready.
year. And we got a 9-minute trailer. First we got trolled for a few days. Then we got a 9-minute trailer with the release date attached to it. And Kojima put out a letter, and I will read to you what he wrote. He said, "People have built walls and become accustomed to living in isolation. Death Stranding is a completely new type of action game where the player's goal is to reconnect isolated cities and fragmented society. All elements, including the story and gameplay, are bound together by the theme of strand, or connection. As Sam Porter bridges, you will attempt to bridge these divisions, and in doing so, create new bonds or strands with other players around the globe. Through your experience playing the game, I hope you'll come to understand the true importance of forging connections with others. Now, please enjoy the latest Death Stranding trailer. Hideo Kojima."
That's such a very bright message for such a very dark and
So-
very decrepit video.
We did not know what Death Stranding was since it was announced in 2016. And we now know after this trailer, the purpose of this game is to rebuild America.
Yep.
Who saw that?
Nobody. Not a single person.
I think the theme, the overarching theme, is pretty interesting. And he's been pretty overt about it. And I think it's a very topical sort of assessment of how our culture is.
Now, there is a standard edition for this game, and there's also a collector's edition for this game. And the collector's edition will put you back $250 US, but it comes with exclusive in-game items. There is pre-order bonus content.
Some like
that also
gold-plated
comes
armor.
with. There is a keychain that comes with it, a custom
Soundtrack.
steelbook, the soundtrack,
And
you
Baby
get
Ritas.
There's the Bridges, one of his cargo cases. You get that,
That's cool.
and then you get the little baby pod.
Little baby Ritas.
All right, so that creeps me out so much. Like, no thanks. I'm going to take a hard pass on that.
So I don't think it's. We had thought before that it was Norman Reedus' character as a baby.
I think it is.
I no longer think it is. I think these babies are just throwaway babies.
No, I think they're tied to their past self.
I think that they are
called
too.
them, They called them bridge babies, and I think that
Yeah, bridging the gap between the dead Hades version of America, as it is, and these future versions of themselves. So I think that's the reason why they would be, if they're throwaway babies, they wouldn't care what happens to them.
That's why they're using them like that.
I think they're clones
allow
of
them
you.
to
Is
see
what
the
I think
other
they are.
side.
Yeah.
I think they're.
But I think
clones.
there's a reason why they're going to need to keep them protected.
Right.
I
So
just think they're using them as batteries. Like
Yeah.
when you drain the baby and it's done, you
oh
just go
no!
get another one.
Yikes!
Bridge baby.
So Chris says I'm still curious for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, we all are, my man.
Oh yeah, we're
We'll
so
be,
excited. We'll be talking about that in a second.
We're talking about that in the E3 predictions portion of the show.
Mhm.
Also, this month, PS Plus has some new games out, and you're going to be able to get Borderlands: The Handsome Collection,
Oh my
and
goodness!
also Sonic Mania.
Oh, even better. That's awesome. Sonic
Those are
Mania is the newer.
Two great games.
Oh
out there.
wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Actually
So that's
worth.
huge for June.
Chris
Could be the best PS Plus lineup on PS4.
Chris responds, Death
least
Stranding is
recently.
interesting because because of its darkness and philosophic intentions.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
Mr. Kojima right there.
Yep. And this one's a lot more. I think this one's going to be actually more forward than most of the other games. I think this one's going to be.
He's not tied to anything here.
Right.
This is a brand new creation of his.
Right. Instead of like Metal Gear Solid, where a lot of it's it's in the background and a lot of it's kind of silly and Kojima style, I think this one's going to be a lot more in your face
the
about
tone's a
what
lot
he
more
wants.
serious.
Right. I think he's going to show you a lot more of what he thinks is his philosophy.
He has free reign in his partnership with
Yep.
Sony.
Yep.
And he has publicly said that this is a dream come true for him.
I love it. I think
Yeah.
Sony's saying, "Yo, you can have your own studio. This is all yours. You just do what you want. We'll just throw money at
What
you."
I was excited about in this one is seeing the actual gameplay instead of just these cryptic little hints at things.
The
So
little
you get to
movies.
you
Yeah.
get to see your walking simulator,
and the bike.
your climbing simulator,
The four-wheeler.
the 4-wheeler, and
Bike.
how the combat works.
I'm surprised that there's I'm glad to see that it still focuses towards the like Metal Gear Solid sneak because I think it has a lot to do with that too. I think it's more purposeful that you're going to be sneaking more than anything else in the game.
No, you're not.
You don't think so?
No, he said this is not a stealth game.
I do like the fact that they have the stealth in there because I think it gives you options of how you want to play, whether you want to be aggressive or not. I think the other interesting thing is what's in his name. Like Porter.
Sam.
He's a carry. The person who's a
Porter,
porter is a person who carries
Bridges.
things. Bridges. I just enjoy those little hints tied in to everything.
That's Kojima, man. He's a master. So I've been saying since God of War came out that God of War is the reason to purchase a PlayStation 4. I still say that for now until I experience this one. But you're going to have two, I think, stellar games. Two. If anybody that doesn't have one that's like, should I get a PS4? There's two reasons that anybody should
If
get a
nothing
PS4.
else, I think the narrative of this is going to be the most interesting narrative that you're probably going to get on PlayStation.
And
it could be.
I also agree with Chris. He says, I think it'll be more intense and going much deeper than other games in the meantime. So right now,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, if we're going towards like November, I don't know how many big games
There
are.
isn't going to be anything
Yeah.
like this.
I think you're going to get in a drought right now. And what you're going to see,
This is a one-of-a-kind.
yep. I think it's going to be,
As God of War is a one-of-a-kind
Oh.
game, this will definitely
I'm
be
calling
one.
Gotti with it.
Well, the
I think
best
game of the year.
Okay.
the best thing is seeing
I'm not going to say no to that.
the
agree.
pinnacle of what we can get out of the PlayStation system.
Absolutely. Oh,
So
And the thing is, like, that's another question of mine. Would I actually recommend this to people that don't have a PlayStation 4 yet? Right now, I would. But as soon as Sony does their conference, whenever they're going to do it, and tell us what the PS5 is, if that's what they're going to call it, and they officially announce backwards compatibility, then I will never tell anybody to buy a PlayStation 4 because you just got to, if you're saving up for one, save up for the new one.
you think it's going to be true backwards compatibility?
I think it is, yeah.
they said it
they've
was based off
confirmed
the same
that it is.
architecture.
They've confirmed that it is because of, and I said this last week, it's because of, in my opinion, it's because of PSVR. Because it's more successful than they had expected it to be.
You can go ahead and start reading.
So when they did as well as they did on this experiment of PSVR, you can't do the next generation and then leave those games behind. You have to bring them because the library is not as large as the PS4 library. So you can't segregate some of your user
Also, there was a
base.
huge backlash of people
Huge.
being upset. And then when you have Game Pass Gold, everything
gives you
like that,
everything.
Game Pass,
you
and
get
then
you get your games.
You've got the other one looming,
Yeah.
which we're going to talk about right now, and that is Google Stadia.
Blech.
Google Stadia. I have 2 news articles for them.
Ugh.
The first is they have expanded their infrastructure ahead of Stadia with a new $672 million data center.
Oh, good for you.
So
I
they are
mean-
investing heavy into this.
They can.
They've got the assets to get into it, and they know what side the bread's buttered on. They know that gaming is huge. Nobody wants to exist in reality right now, so
Yeah.
we want to get our escapism on. But
So they made a major investment, and now on their official Stadia Twitter,
Oh,
they said, some news can't wait for E3. Tune in to the first ever Stadia Connect this Thursday at 6 o'clock.
oh boy,
Or wait, sorry, 9 a.m. Pacific.
9 a.m. No one's gonna be awake to watch that.
Pacific
9 a.m.
though.
Pacific, so that's noon
I guess
here.
it's okay, whatever.
For exciting announcements, games, and more.
Oh
Hey,
my
The
god.
Stadia Connect
But
on June 6th.
this is also coming in the heels of huge server outages across Google. So Google, YouTube, Snapchat, and other properties have just been hit with a major outage yesterday.
Yeah, and they're still not fully resolved as last I
No.
checked.
We were trying to go through some of our catalog, and it was really bad connection. So
Right.
this is exactly the point of like, what's the risk in this new? Because I'm not always like anti anything new. I'm trying not to be an old person, but
Oh, I'm 100% anti Stadia.
but this concept is like, okay, we don't have universal connectivity, and I don't want to have licenses for everything.
That's the road. You get a license, you don't own the game anymore.
No.
This could also be like, I mean, I don't know how far they are building this thing, so I don't know.
I think this is launching soon.
Yeah, so I think we're probably going to have something at E3. I think they're going to launch E3.
Oh, and they got a
That's-
panel at
I don't know
E3,
if it's
don't
that
they?
quick. They got a panel. They probably fall release, I'm predicting.
I suppose I'll watch.
I
the
wouldn't be
panel.
surprised if they have.
I'm going to watch this Connect event.
I mean, I'm going to
Gotta
watch
do it.
all of E3, and then I'm going to hate Google still. I mean, I love Google because I mean, I'm a Google user, but Stadia, their first things that they said to me automatically makes me turned off by it. So I mean,
It's kind of the same principle as the announcement for the Xbox One several years ago, where they were just kind of like, "Yeah, we're super arrogant," and then PlayStation's like, "No."
Well,
Yeah,
that-
we're not going to do all those things, and then they ended up outselling them 2-1,
I mean,
as far as anybody knows.
let's also notate that PlayStation and Xbox now have to. They've already decided that Google is a threat
They
because
have. They've made a partnership.
Yeah,
Yep.
because they have more money than anybody because of all the advertisement and the
Right.
interconnectivity.
They just dropped $672 million in a data center, so it's insane.
Chris says, "Hey, who's up at 11 p.m. to watch some Americans discussing video games?" Me. Well, Chris, I appreciate you for watching. I'd
Yes.
love to be able to watch all the E3 in LA, and LA is some quite huge time difference. Oh yeah, it's a huge difference. But I mean, for the most part, they have all of it recorded. So that's E3
Yeah.
is going to be huge with that. They always record it. Well, the stuff that I'm going to be missing, because they usually start like 6ish, right? Usually
Yeah, they
6.
do. It's a whole event starting on Friday, I believe it is, or Saturday, with EA is kicking off their own thing. We're going to talk about this a little bit more on the show, so stay tuned. We'll get through the news, and then we'll tell you all the event and layout and everything. And E3 actually has their own channel on YouTube where you're going to be able to see it all. So
Yeah, and they're probably going to be posting. Everyone has a road to E3 now, so they all follow that path line.
and stay tuned to your favorite developers
Me too,
that you
Chris.
follow, because most of them are posting their own things on their own channels. So make sure you check them
The
out.
format's changing a bit this year too. So
Yeah. Yeah, big change. Sony pulled out, and so did Activision. So
yeah.
there's still a lot there though. Some people are saying that E3 is dead, and couldn't be further from the truth. Another thing that Microsoft did on their official Xbox Game Pass Twitter channel, they said the tune into Xbox E3 briefing on June 9th at 1 p.m. for more info, but they are introducing Xbox Game Pass for PC. 100 plus high-quality PC games from over 75 content partners, including Bethesda, Deep Silver, Devolver Digital, Paradox Interactive, Xbox Game Studios, and Sega.
So you're getting a lot of titles for this that are coming out just originally and initially, and
Yeah,
of course
so-
it's going to be building.
Right.
I'm just excited to see Devolver.
They have their own conference again.
Their
this year.
their conference is going to be hysterical,
It is.
as
Absolutely
always.
It's always the best of E3. So we had talked before that Phil Spencer, Xbox boss, had publicly said that he wanted Xbox Game Pass on more devices than just Xbox. And we assumed that PC would be the first one that they would bring it to. And we also assumed that it would just be mostly just their content going on PC as well, because most, if not all, Xbox games play on PC as well. So we just figured it would be Xbox Game Pass on PC, and it is, but this one is tailored for PC, so I'm very interested to see if this is going to be its own subscription plan, or if for $9.99 a month you get the PC and Xbox versions.
I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping
Or-
with that because I really get tired of all the subscriptions that we're expected to buy for our favorite things.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and you need to have like a third job in order to afford all the stuff.
Yeah, because you have publishers getting into that too. So I'm curious to see if it's going to stay $9.99 a month with this inclusion, or if they'll say each is $9.99 and you can bundle them for $15 or something like that. We'll know this weekend.
I really think how many people are going to be Xbox plus computer gaming?
Oh, I mean,
Because usually you pick a rig. You either play computers, you play Xbox, you play PlayStation. We are kind of an odd crew that we like to dabble in most of them, but we all have our favorite things, and we don't like to deviate too much from that. And I don't think it's just from cost perspective as much as it is a personal preference.
Yeah.
I don't really like computer gaming personally. It's just not. I've never really been able to get into it. I find that the console gaming is a lot more comfortable as far as setup goes, which is one of the biggest things I like about the consoles. I also like that you aren't going to be outmoded in 12 seconds for your hardware.
What about you?
when it comes to this, I'm totally for it. I mean, for the most part, I think that Microsoft is going to be, because of how they have this all set up, the expansion between it, like, it's the obvious choice to go to PC. And I think there's going to be a bundle they have to, because there's going to be people who are like us who have multiple consoles or even a PC to play it on. I think that they're going to try to work with that, because their main goal now is to try to beat all of their competition to the ground.
If
Yeah.
that's the case, then they should do the single subscription, not the bundle.
Right. I agree.
It should be best value to the player. You really want to catch everybody's attention. One flat rate. This covers everything.
And they're really in a position where they could do that. So
Plus, they're building their network and infrastructure for the rest of the services for the next gen too, which other people are going to be buying into to have the cross-platform. So that's really important as well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with this, Chris, he says worldwide, so you can imagine like 30 million or more players, and it would be definitely more than 30 million. If you're talking like in the sense of people buying it, of course they're going to, because this type of subscription, you're talking, it's Microsoft, it's the PC. Right now, it's only going to be a couple hundred different games now, but you're talking.
So the way this system is set up, it's always over 100 games, and they rotate in time.
And you keep,
So
and you can keep the games though.
So this service, don't directly compare it to something like Netflix, because when they lose a license, it's gone forever. Even if it's in your list, it goes away. With this service, if there's a game on there, you select it, you download it to your machine, you can keep that game for as long as you have the service. So even if they remove it, it stays in your library. So that's really cool, because you can play that game.
And that's kind of what the PS Plus model is as well. You can download it to your library, and then you can have access to it as you like. But that's only the couple games that you have to be on it on each month, which I'm really terrible at.
You are.
But you have access to it as you choose, as long as you select it when that license is active. But Xbox is a little bit different, but it's the same sort of principle.
Okay, well now we're gonna move on because
I agree, Chris.
crunching. Here we go. Here's a game that's actually coming out this week. This
Ready.
one's actually coming out this week.
I'm ready.
This one is called Warhammer Chaos Bane. And this, if you like Diablo, you're going to love this game. The director of this game has said publicly he has put himself over 650 hours into Diablo 3. And then they took that. I don't want to call it a clone because
They took the elements
they
of
took
it.
the elements of it, but they made their own skill systems and classes and everything. So it's not a clone, but it looks really good. And got to get my hands on this one. But coming up on release, they went ahead and posted a new video, which you can check out, categorizing their summer and autumn plans for this year. And they're going to have 4 different things, and they have free content, and there is a season pass. So, this summer, 2 things are going to drop, and then in the autumn, 2 things are going to drop. They don't have titles yet, but we just know that there will be 4 pieces. And for the free content, in the first piece, you're going to get a new difficulty level, which is level 11, and new loot elements, which are
Level
rings.
11.
And then in the second one, you're going to get new difficulty level, which is level 12, and you're going to get a permadeath mode and new heroic sets.
Oh, good.
And then in the autumn, you're going to get new difficulty level 13, and new loot elements, necklace. And then the final piece will be new difficulty level 14 with a level cap increase with new skills. And then, so that's all free content. And then the season pass back in the summer for the first drop is also going to include an emote pack, 4 emotes for your characters to taunt your enemies. And the second one is new god skill tree, new skills, new character builds. And the third one, you're going to get a pet pack, which is the Flamespire Phoenix, Imperial Falcon, Slayer Ancestor, and the Elven Spite. And then for the final one, you're going to get a new main story quest, a brand new story, new locations, new enemies. So that's quite a bit of content that's going to come post-launch. So these guys are really, really
I like
hooking you up.
I like the amount of free stuff they're including, and I like the fact that their season pass isn't pay to win.
Nope,
Deal.
it's just added benefits, like any good like season pass would have. The thing that I want to stress about Warhammer is that Warhammer is gigantic and expansive. So if they're building a dungeon crawler-esque roguelike game where you start off as a character and you build through it, you're going to get more classes and probably more skills than you could ever, get your hands on. In the beginning, most likely it's going to be probably smaller, but I'm telling you right now, this game is something to look forward to if you like Diablo. At least as far as I've seen.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And I don't really even do the looter crawler, dungeon crawler ones, but in general, I like them.
If
You have a good crew to play with.
Yeah, of course. It's always fun when you're playing with a lot of people or you're stupid overpowered and you just kind of walk through things and
Just maraud and just
it
lay
dies.
waste. I do like that too. It's cathartic.
I only really play in hardcore, so like these games, if as soon as they come out with the one death type of mode, I'm going to be on it.
The permadeath mode?
Because hardcore mode is much more fun. Because then you have to actually worry about things that you do. You have to be able to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm not going to come back up after this. It's going to be, oh, well, I'm dead and I have to restart everything over again.
So I just didn't want to move on without saying the developer and publisher. Developer, Echo Software. Publisher, Big Ben Interactive. So this is awesome. This is going to come out tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
You'll probably see it on E3 too.
Yeah, they'll probably be there. Yep. So yeah,
It's easy advertisement for them.
Yep,
that's
of course.
what I'm definitely looking forward to. And then our last bit of news is MK11's Combat Pack has been announced, and the speculation is over. This is coming out, I believe, June 18th is when Shang Tsung drops. We already knew he was coming out. But they did a trailer, and I encourage you all to go check out the trailer. You see him in action, and his skill set, if you're familiar with MK, you'll follow this pretty well.
Yep, Chris. MK11, yep.
If you're not, I'll do my best to explain it to you. So, MK9 pretty much rebooted the whole series, and you had the ninjas in there in like their original forms. And so, in this one, Shang Tsung, if you don't know what he does, he steals the souls of his enemies, and then he can actually transform into them. So, in his skill set, he is transforming into the original ninjas. So you have Ermac, Rain,
And Smoke, I think.
Smoke, and Reptile.
Yep.
And you will be doing combos and transforming into these characters using their specials. And he also has his own specials too. And then in his Fatal Blow, which is the cinematic super move, he transforms into the original Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So all of the original ninjas are who he transforms into. And then for his fatality, he shoots a soul into the enemy and it blows out and turns into Kintaro. Super cool.
Kevin's super excited for this.
You forgot to mention that he could also steal the soul of the opponent and play as the opponent too.
So, and that's a skill that he did way back in the day. So he steals their soul and then he transforms into them, and
Literally
then you can
saw
do their
him
combos and specials.
turn into Raiden and kick the shit out of Raiden.
Yeah, he did. He pulled off one of the higher tiered combos. I'm curious to see if that specific combo. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were kind of going back and forth on how these combos are going to play out with the ninjas and stuff. And then when we were talking about the Raiden one, he's actually a Raiden main, and he said that's a difficult combo to pull off. And he said that, and I asked, do you think it will be that button input, or will Shang Tsung have a specific input and it's just going to do a combo of that level? And he thinks that you're going to have to know the combos.
I think so too. I think it immediately translates to whatever character you're playing against, and you have to.
And you just mirror that character, and
hopefully
if you know
what
the
the hell
combo,
you're doing.
Yeah.
So it adds a nice layer of challenge for people who don't get enough button combo memorization going on.
And it's some serious bragging rights if you transform into somebody's character and
kick
then whip them.
Yeah. There is that too.
So at the end of that trailer,
This is my favorite part.
They did just a couple splash screens announcing other characters, and we're also getting, so we get Shang Tsung, we're also getting Nightwolf, which I almost collapsed with because he's one of my favorites, and can't wait to see what he looks like. Sindel is coming. That probably pissed off a lot of people that wanted Melina, but we're getting Sindel. And then, the rumor is true, Spawn is joining the fight. I cannot wait to see him.
The amount of zoning Spawn is going to have is going to be.
I'm super curious to see how this is going to work out.
I think it's going to be chains everywhere.
It could be, but it also might not be.
So yeah, this is the biggest question mark that we have is like how is this going to work, because it's going to be pretty insane.
Well, it could be more cape than chains.
That's what I was thinking.
That could also be too.
Cape zoning.
He has so much. He has so much like you can pull from with Spawn. Like I don't remember what he was beforehand because he was in other Mortal Kombat, wasn't he?
No, this is the first time he's coming into MK.
He was in Soul Calibur, right?
2, I think it was.
Yeah,
so long ago.
Yeah, he was exclusive. That was when they did the exclusive things. He was an exclusive. I don't remember which system he was on, but I do remember like Yoda was on one and Darth Vader was on one. Link was on one. I don't know. You'd have to go back and see which ones.
Yes.
But so you're getting Spawn, and you're also getting 2 more to be announced at another time.
That's exciting.
And I think I might have figured them out.
Yeah.
With the aid of one Mr. Bruce Campbell, because he went on Twitter.
You heard the chainsaw.
I heard a chainsaw, and there was blood splashing. And then Bruce Campbell, who played Ash in the Evil Dead series in Army of Darkness.
I also called this.
He said, he posted a tweet referencing this and said, "This looks like a fun game. I may have to check it out."
Oh my god, I can't wait. I love
And
him.
then also, if you watch this trailer, at the end of it, the music changes, and it goes into a cadence which follows Terminator 2. So it could be the Terminator.
so the actual confirmed rumors are most likely confirmed then, because that's
So,
what people
yeah.
were talking about before was
What
Ash.
we're
and-
referencing is rumors that were all over the internet saying that Ash and the Terminator.
I
were
remember the
gonna be in
chainsaw.
this.
I didn't remember the dun dun dun
It
dun.
does.
dun.
It goes dun 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 dun
yeah,
dun.
we
It does.
listened to it about 400 times.
Because we were watching. I showed my nephew it yesterday, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I know that music." And then I played it back again. I was like, "Oh, that's Terminator music right there. That's the theme."
He had a little bit of a meltdown.
Then
Okay.
we should go on Arnold Schwarzenegger's page and see if
If he's joining the fight,
because he'll say something about it too.
Oh my god, that makes insane.
That's so exciting.
okay. So the rest of the show we're going to dedicate to E3 and our predictions for it. So
I gotta pull up my predictions.
here's
Give me a
here's the tentative schedule that E3 themselves have released. So you have June 7th through the 11th is the EA Play event, and then June 8th is Nintendo's Invitational Tournaments. June 9th, you have the Microsoft Press Conference, and also June 9th, you have the Bethesda Press Conference. June 10th, you have the PC Gaming Show. Also June 10th, you have the Limited Run Games Press Conference. June 10th, you have the Ubisoft Press Conference. And then June 10th this year at the 6 o'clock p.m. slot, that was traditionally Sony's slot, Square Enix is taking that slot this year with their press conference.
You guys
Oh.
have no idea
Oh my
what's
God.
coming.
Okay, so let's hold on. June 11th, the morning following is always Nintendo's Direct Showcase for E3, and then immediately after that showcase, they do their Nintendo Treehouse Live event for E3, and then June 11th through 13th, the actual E3 show floor is open. And that, my friends, is E3 2019. So, the
No, we actually didn't know that, Chris.
what do you say?
He's talking about Arnold. I'll be back. Can you do it? You
Thanks,
can do it.
sir. I'm not doing it. So, yeah, so Square Enix is taking Sony's slot, and it's big shoes to fill.
That's gigantic.
And
Well,
if
that
you
can't be
saw
worse than
E3
last year's.
last year, Square Enix was the worst show.
No,
It was.
I don't know.
It was.
PlayStation was pretty bad.
It was like 15 minutes, and it was for nothing. They
Because-
showed nothing. They announced nothing.
Yeah, because most of the stuff that they showed was already showed.
Yeah.
And they're just gearing up for this year.
Yeah. This year, we've already had a little tease of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're getting stories out there that the Avengers game is real, and it will be shown at E3 at their press conference.
Hopefully.
And the only other thing we saw was a little tiny 30-second trailer, I think 3 years ago. So I was starting to wonder if this game was doomed. But it looks like we're going to see gameplay of it from the rumors. We will see gameplay and know the details.
This
of
would be
it.
definitely the year to do it, given Endgame and everything.
And given, I mean, if you really want to think about it for E3, given the opportunity to broadcast a lot more now that PlayStation's gone.
So shall I just go into our predictions, and then we could just dedicate the rest of the show to talking about E3 and
Yes.
having
Let's-
fun?
Let's
Let's do
roll
it.
out.
So we'll start with Brett. The boys couldn't be here this week. They are out of the country, and they will be returning to us hopefully in a couple of weeks. And so we'll start with Brett. They gave me their lists, so we'll read them off for you. Brett's list, his predictions are Final Fantasy VII will be on the Microsoft stage. That's bold.
That makes no
That's-
sense.
He said we get new games announced from Ninja Theory, In Exile, and The Initiative. And his boldest prediction is that the Xbox Anaconda version, which is the strongest of the next generation lineup, is going to get a release date for early 2020.
That I could see.
So they're going to come out and try to cut Sony, because the current rumor is that Sony's next generation console will release late 2020.
If they stay with their usual trend, that would be accurate.
So maybe Microsoft does come out and say, yeah, we'll come out in spring and launch it, get going. So those are pretty good predictions. I like them. I don't know about the Final Fantasy VII being on Microsoft.
It doesn't make
stage.
any sense since Microsoft is now, Square Enix is now having their probably more time and more.
Would be
more
surprised if they would do that.
room.
Maybe if the Square Enix conference was first, but it's not. Microsoft's going first.
I can see because most likely it's for Xbox, so maybe they'll have the same
Maybe they'll have a trailer.
trailer for Microsoft and just saying,
So they'll show a trailer, but you won't see anybody on stage. You don't think?
absolutely
I don't
not.
think
Okay, that's he's bold with it. I like the
Be
boldness.
bold, be
Very
bold.
spicy.
Brennan's up now, and he says Fable reboot will be announced with a release date.
Bold, but I would accept that.
I'd say Fable at least. Yeah.
He says
I don't think
CD
a release
Projekt
date,
Red announces the Witcher series with Siri.
that would be amazing.
Well, that's
Is in
gonna
the early stages.
that's going to happen, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year.
He says they're going to announce it that it's in the early stages of development.
I could see that happening.
He also says 3 games on Microsoft stage are going to be released on stage. 3 games. So we'll have to keep track of that. He could be onto something there.
Does he have predictions of what games there, or just go on?
He does not. He just says 3 are going to be released right then on
That's,
stage.
That's not super bold. I mean, I think that because Microsoft did it before.
Is he talking about
3 games?
their
They
IP,
posted a couple.
their new IPs, or
He just says 3 games on the Microsoft stage will be released
that's
on
kinda,
stage.
I mean, how many did they release last year?
I don't.
They had like 50 different games, and they had several of them that were that day.
Yes.
So
I mean,
that's not super bold.
not super spicy.
He says
Mild.
Ubisoft will show Watch Dogs 3.
Ugh. I hope not.
I never played either, so I
could see that
wouldn't know.
happening. I think he's on something.
I mean, if you really want my honest opinion about that, I want them to do the final. I want them to prove that all of the games that they've created thus far, like Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, I want them to make the Ubisoft crossover, where it's like there's more hints and it's all.
so
Well,
like,
let's get through their stuff so we can talk about ours.
okay. So
bad.
let's see, where are we? Yes, he then says Microsoft spends a large amount of time detailing next gen, xCloud, and Azure, with a specific information on what's coming and why to go Xbox in the coming generation.
I definitely think I agree with that.
Yep,
I think
hands down.
because the xCloud and the Azure stuff, that's super important for them on the business end, and they're going to try to do kind of what Amazon has done for other network building stuff. That's going
Yeah.
to be how they're going to keep the console games going.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Console
I don't
games,
know.
but you know
I
what
like
I mean.
their list. I think they're onto stuff there. Microsoft is definitely their focus. They're the Xbox biggest fans of our group,
Who would have guessed?
and
Surprised.
surprise. But I'll tell you this: Microsoft has a big opportunity to make me a fan of their group.
This is their steamroll opportunity.
This
so
is their chance. Will they persuade me to join them? We shall see.
need a
next
better
weekend.
controller.
Yeah, they definitely do. I really hope they switch up the controller. Who wants to go next? Jake?
Oh, sure.
Put you on the spot.
So, some of my predictions were already announced. Because of Sea of Solitude, I said it was going to be coming out, and they've already hit that. So, I definitely think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have a release date and in-depth world review, a bigger design and seeing how the world works.
Like actual gameplay?
Oh yeah, I think
Because
that,
we did get that 45-minute one.
yes. So
It
I
was
think
on an early build, so I wonder how much it's progressed.
Cyberpunk's going to show off an actual full-on in-depth world review though, how
yeah,
the
you
world's
think
going to
so?
work.
See that.
Squeenix is announcing. I think they're going to announce the new IP based on the project named Last Idea. So we talked about this
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time ago.
Forgot about that one.
So they put out a copyright for the name,
Yeah, they did.
and so I think the project is going to be announced on Square Enix stage.
That would really make it worth their while for having their own time slot where Sony.
So you think they're going big with it?
Yes,
They
It's not
should.
just going to be some video montage, because that's what it was last year. We didn't really.
Well, they didn't
get-
really have any content to do last
Yeah.
year. They've been working on stuff.
Yep. So I think this one is where they're going to capitalize more because now they're probably going to have a larger stage, more time to delegate things.
They're in the
because,
spotlight.
right. Square Enix has always been a relatively large company, so I think
Yeah,
this
they're
is going to be
huge.
the time where they're going to hit home. I think Square Enix is also going to announce DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 and do the episodic DLC.
Okay, so you think there's more to the story coming?
Oh yes, because the way that they ended the Kingdom Hearts game
Wait a minute.
was
Let's not spoil it.
pretty open.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Let's see what else do I have. Okay, the other one was Death Stranding, but we already got that one out of the way.
It's
So
confirmed.
for the most part, that's pretty much it. I think Square Enix is going to capitalize a lot of the resources that they have available now, and I think they're going to announce more of the focuses of other games now. I didn't say anything about Final Fantasy VII.
You
No,
did
that's-
not
that's
say
gonna be
a
me.
word
Not a
because
thing.
you don't want it to come out.
I
It's
don't.
going to cost you money.
I think Ubisoft is going to be the one to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah.
I think I've heard rumors that there's a new Assassin's Creed game coming because of some Easter eggs in Division 2. It might be Assassin's Creed Vikings.
That's going to be
That would be
So
stupid
if that,
dope.
Yeah, it would.
and I heard that it's supposed to be in the same sort of, it might be in the same sort of storytelling mode like
Odyssey.
like Odyssey. So
yeah.
which I've generally liked the direction that they've taken that. So I think that'd be really exciting. They also had some leaks about a Rocket League challenger for a roller derby type thing called Roller Champions. So I'm not really into that, but kudos to them.
Something to definitely show off at E3.
Yeah. And that, I guess it's really popular, so that might be something fun.
Oh yeah,
Something-
Rocket League is super popular.
Just not my cup of tea. So, but I thought that was pretty interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had the announcement for the Assassin's Creed Vikings. That would be really cool. I do think that we're going to get a release date on Final Fantasy VII. I do.
Assassin's Creed 5 Ragnarok.
That would be a great title.
Absolutely.
So, do you think you have a time frame in mind?
Well, I think in the usual vein of things, it's either going to be holiday season if you're going to go real early, or income taxes next year. But I do think they're going to be bold this year since they had that slot available to them. I think they're going to go big because this is their time to capitalize on it. They've been working on it forever.
Here's my thing. If they don't go big, it's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But it won't. It's not going to hurt them. I mean, they're a solid company as is. You're thinking Christmas? I don't think so, Chris. I think it's going to be next year. But that's not. I think it's going to be late next year.
He's hoping it's
I'm
later,
hoping it's
as
2021
late as
is what I'm
possible.
hoping.
He's hoping for.
I'm hoping we're going to hear some more about their Star Ocean First Departure remake.
You mean like the first game?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
were
rebooted it,
They
and
announced
then
that they were going to do a
They're
remake of it,
remaking the reboot.
but they're
I mean, that's the second one is the best one I think out of all of them. So I mean, to be fair, it's not going to be a bad game. I mean, the Star Ocean series is always relatively good until later on where they made some big mistakes.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had another near
Automata.
yeah,
Yeah.
some near news.
Like DLC, or
We're
a
focusing
new
strictly on
game?
Square Enix.
well, that's the section that I'm working in right now. So
DLC or a new.
now I think that's probably going to be something new, but in the same universe. I don't think Bethesda's really going to do a whole lot other than talk about their.
They'll be talking about Doom.
Yep.
They'll
I would
be
expect them,
doing their best to salvage Fallout 76.
which I've heard that they've done a pretty decent job of
Yeah,
catching
they'll
up
be
to that.
Doing what they can with Blades as well.
Yep.
Elder Scrolls Blades.
They're
They'll probably talk about Rage 2 a little bit.
they're going to talk about Starfield, and
They are not.
they're not going to announce anything for Starfield, but they're going to talk about it. They're going to keep the flow going. I think they're going to have some information about it. And Elder Scrolls 6.
I hate to burst your bubble. They have officially announced there will be no talks of Starfield, nor Elder Scrolls 6.
Then they dumb.
They said there will be nothing shown and nothing to talk about.
Okay.
Unless they're trolling us.
I knew that they weren't going to show us anything, but I figured that they would talk about it and keep the hype going.
Get the buzz going. Yeah.
And then as far as Xbox goes, we already know that they're going big this year with the 14 first-party releases.
I forgot to mention that in the news portion. So Phil Spencer actually put out a tweet and said that 14 Microsoft Studios will be shown. Games will be shown and at this conference.
It's going to be a big conference.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's super exciting news, but we already know that that's happening. So the speculation is going to be like, what are we going to see?
Yeah, what are the games?
And let's see. Nintendo's going to keep doing Nintendo. They had an opportunity to step up and change things around. They're choosing to keep their normal format.
They're comfortable.
Which I feels interesting, but they don't need to sweat it out.
Not at all. They're literally always going to be Nintendo. So it's very hard for them. I don't think they don't need to take risks because there's no real need to take risks. The only thing that they ever risk on
risks
on their consoles, how they design them, what they do with them. But other than that, when it comes to how they publicly show it,
their format works very well for them. They don't.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to stay the same because
their format is solid.
I wish that they'd do more of a splashier thing, but I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with what they got to.
Their format is perfect, and that's why you see Sony copying it.
Yeah,
and that's why you see Stadia copying it.
There it is.
Stadia, Sony.
Wait until Xbox actually makes one.
Xbox does their inside Xbox. It's a little bit different. It's not the same,
but it will be. Give it time.
No, Xbox is they're successful in what they do. It's different, but it's good. I hope they don't give that up to do this. Stick with Inside Xbox and do it that way. I'm
unconvinced of the EA Play event portion of it. I'm kind of
EA Play, yeah. This is a transitional phase.
Yeah, okay? It's different. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
About most of the ones that are trying to follow Nintendo's monthly updates or whatever, it's all about learning the rhythm. Like with PlayStation, I don't see them doing really well right now, but they have been slowly moving to be better. Like I'm not saying that they're good, but I'm just saying that they're potentially working on making themselves a little bit more better.
Well, they had some serious missteps with last year, and then they went big with the theatrical aspect of it, which I thought was gorgeous. But I thought it was a big waste of time for anybody who wasn't there. Not gonna ever complain about having the theatrical aspect because that was amazing, and I really would have loved that.
They could have done so much more, though. Like they
didn't have the content there for it.
Yep, they were like, "Yep, everyone stay in this theater for about 15 minutes. Now we all gotta walk."
Well, here's my thing that I said last week. We've had 2 state of plays from Sony, and when you put the 2 of them together, it equals about 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that's the first half of their E3 presentation. So it's not like they don't have stuff to show, but they're just taking.
I think it hurt them last year with how much they spent on that, and that was a terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
They didn't have everything.
Kicking it out to a host group while your audience moves to another venue.
Ugh.
Terrible idea.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but.
So they suffered for that, and they spent a lot of money, and they didn't get a return out of it. So the investors said, "Why are you doing this?" Also, here's a hot take for you. This is my hot take on E3. We are in a transitional phase, going from one generation to the next. This has happened before, going from last generation to the current one. However, E3 was not as popular as it is today. Now, public has access to E3, then public did not. So E3 has now become... E3 started as an investors group meeting, and it has now become pop culture. During this transitional phase, these companies are seeing that they don't have much to offer, so they're not actually participating. Like EA themselves are not participating in E3. They're doing their own thing. this is because of this transitional phase. They don't really have much to offer. Yes, we have Jedi Fallen Order coming out this year, but that's it. And they still have their main staples of the sports games. And that's all they got. So they're not going to invest that kind of money because they're not going to get a return on it in this transitional phase. I do expect next E3 to see the return of these people. These companies are coming back.
It's kind of like a Super Bowl or kind of like what the MTV Awards used to be back in the day, where it's just so much. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe.
The doom in this. Like people are saying this is the end of E3. It's not the end of E3. It couldn't.
No,
be anything
it's just an
further
odd
from
growing.
It's
growing
just a
pains.
transitional phase that people don't see the necessity to spend that kind of money when they aren't going to get a return on it. They themselves will return. Are you ready for my predictions?
Yes.
Cyberpunk 2077. You're going to get a gameplay demo and a release date.
That's bold.
Huh.
I don't actually think we're going to get a date anymore. After what they said, I think we're going to get a release window, and it's going to be 2020. Fall of 2020.
For the new consoles that are
I
coming out.
do, however,
And
think
also
we're going to
because
get a
Cyberpunk
release
2020
date
is a thing.
for Final Fantasy VII,
Yikes.
and it's going to be holiday 2019. Especially if it is still episodic. Episode 1 launches this year. MK11's DLC character reveals are going to happen. We are going to know who those other two are at E3. And I think that happens on the Microsoft stage. I think Mike Laidlaw is going to reveal the game he's been working on over at Ubisoft and the Ubisoft press conference. We are going to finally know what he's been working on. If you don't know who Mike is, go ahead. If you don't know who Mike Laidlaw is, he was the director of the Dragon Age series before he left BioWare.
So here's the real question: what kind of game do you think he's been working on?
I mean, we're gonna. I'm hoping
Any
something
hot takes?
similar.
Hot takes.
I think it's gonna be it's gonna be something that he's already knows about. So it's gonna be something medieval, something with role playing.
A brand new IP.
Yeah,
That's
that's going to
what I think
have
it
something
is.
that has to do with that, though. I think he's going to go back to like the roots that he knows.
Yeah, I really hope it is something similar to Dragon Age 1. Go back.
So it's either you don't think it's gonna be like a Space Questy Mass Effect style,
Nope, I don't.
because those are usually the two sides of the coin. I would like to see a third side of the coin of something else in between, but that'd be really.
I don't
cool.
know. Whatever. I'm just super excited to see what Mike's doing.
You know that like the projects that he has been involved with, they've been really excellent quality things.
Yeah.
So I will be happy just to hear anything from him.
Yep. I think
But
we're
it's
gonna
different
see it this
because he's working with Ubisoft.
year.
So that's an entirely different direction. So
But he's still
literally
the lead director on this project too, so we'll have to see. Super pumped. I can't wait to see it. And I think we're going to see it this conference. Supermassive Games Man of Medan, the first game of the Dark Pictures anthology, is going to be shown here. This is Supermassive are the makers of Until Dawn. PlayStation's official account actually put out a trailer for this game.
So you know it's coming.
So it's coming, and in the trailer, you kind of just they're showing you that you're still making choices and all that. But I think you're going to see the game in action.
Where are you going to see it on, though? What stage?
You're not going to see it on stage. It's a Sony game, so you're just going to get trailers.
Ah.
I think they themselves are going to put it out there. So, the Outer Worlds, you're going to get gameplay of this.
I can't wait.
It's going to be playable, and you're going to get a release date. And I think this one's coming out fall 2019. And that will be on Microsoft stage. Fable's getting revealed. I think it's a complete reboot. I think that's what the rumor has been. It's going to be a complete reboot, not a continuation.
I hope so.
And, I
I don't want a reboot of it until next gen.
it will be a launch title, I think, for next gen.
I
We're
think
seeing their next gen games at this conference.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a reboot, and I think it's going to pop up on this and then the next one.
I think it's too early in development for it to come out on this one. It'll be next gen for sure. Halo Infinite, however, will be completely detailed. You will have gameplay. And this will probably be one of the games. There's 2 games here
I kind of forgot that was
that
even
has
a thing.
the potential of having a full on-stage, all-out brawl. It's either going to be this one, or it's going to be Gears 5, or it's going to be both.
I think it's gonna be both.
I
They've been hinting at them. I kind of forgot because I'm not really one of those kind of players.
I'm
but-
just excited to see. I think Halo Infinite is exactly what we're going to say it is. I think it's going to be a completely open world game.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Give us something new in that franchise. Xbox Scarlet and Anaconda, the specs will be completely revealed for both. The console designs are going to be shown on stage, and a price and release date are going to be given. That is my set in stone, must happen at this conference for Microsoft. They have to do that.
Yeah, because you can't just have question marks going.
Square Enix is finally going to show their untitled Avengers game. Give it a title. Give us some gameplay. Tell us all the details about it. Release date, though, I don't know.
He's so hopeful.
And now I'm going to talk about Nintendo a little bit. Nintendo is going to reveal the next Smash DLC character with a release date.
Oh,
Steve.
Not confirmed.
Steve. It's going to be Steve.
Minecraft Steve, he says. Could be.
It's definitely going to be Steve.
Could be Scorpion or Sub-Zero. You never
That'd be
know.
hilarious. I would be
that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I would be speechless, actually.
Just think about it. We're speechless. Be like, okay, all right. I guess we'll.
I don't even know how that would even work. The like there would be no combo, so it's
Could you imagine if they're like little chibi versions,
oh no,
like little chibis?
little me versions.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
no.
that'd be hilarious.
So yeah, I think we're going to get one character with a release window, maybe possibly a tease of the next one.
I think it's
'cause
going to be Steve.
Could be. Could get a couple of them. You never know.
Yeah, Nintendo's
It's been
known
quite
for
a while.
dropping it.
Joker came out.
Joker was fun.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is going to get a very detailed walkthrough, and that is actually coming out in July. So
Yeah, because I can't. What else would they be showcasing?
they've been slowly giving details on Three Houses for the last
Metroid.
couple of weeks.
But
They completely
usually,
restarted that, so I don't know if we're going to see Metroid.
I mean,
I
they,
think we're going to see something.
they usually focus on just the one big game, and then. So, what do you think their big game's going to be? Fire Emblem or?
I mean, I think it's going to be Fire Emblem because it's so close.
Yeah,
So I think
probably
what you're going to see is mostly like the big show is going to be Fire Emblem, and
I'm
everything
gonna
else is
lose
going to be.
my mind.
You're going to get Fire Emblem. You're going to get Amiibo announcements for Fire Emblem.
Let's
You're going to get Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 shown because that's coming out in July as well.
With amiibos.
Let's not
One
forget
of my bold
They're gonna have
predictions
amiibos.
is that Marvel Amiibos are coming.
that would be amazing.
Well, one, it makes all the sense in the world because people collect shit,
And
and
yeah.
two,
The amount of cash.
so Nintendo is so brilliant because a lot of these things they tie in for sales of collectibles, and collectibles are a gigantic market, and having limited edition runs or small batches, that would be insane for the markup available.
We are running short on
Okay,
time,
sorry.
so I have to get through this list. I've made a gigantic list, as I always do.
Literally, it's like a small.
He did say he had an essay.
I can't control myself. So, where am I? Okay, yes. Nintendo is going to reveal a brand new Mario Kart for the Switch.
That would be amazing.
Nintendo will show off gameplay for Link's Awakening and give a release date. It is said to be 2019. That's what they said in their
Yeah, man.
Nintendo Direct. Nintendo will show off Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I no longer think they're going to do that because we know on the 5th they are having a Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct. So you're getting all of the information in its own Direct before E3, so I have to remove that one from my list. Nintendo will reveal Animal Crossing and give a release date.
He's so hopeful for that. I hope they troll you on that.
They probably will. And here are some of my boldest predictions. We will have confirmation that Biomutant still exists.
They just released another gameplay thing
That
of
was
it
a joke.
in 2019. But
That was a joke. I think it's coming out soon. THQ, I think last I saw they had 14 or 15 games in development right now.
They're busy.
THQ Nordic. And they're still buying up studios and stuff. So here are my 3 boldest predictions. None of these are probably going to happen, but I hope all three of them happen. Nintendo will debut the N64 Mini.
Wow.
Bruh.
That's quite bold.
Crystal Dynamics will reveal at the Square Enix show they are doing full remakes of the Legacy of Kain series.
First of all, that would be amazing.
That would be so good. And then my final boldest prediction is either Shuhei Yoshida or Sean Layden will appear on the Xbox stage to announce next gen will be cross-platform for all online games.
That's super bold. But it's in the realm of possibility.
That's definitely I think that's actually more of a thing that's probably going to happen than you think. I think that's more possible than bold.
It makes sense though, as far as the business end goes. 'Cause
Especially
you want people
if
to buy
they
your
now,
stuff.
if now that they've recognized that the biggest threat in the world is Stadia, of course they're going to be like,
Yeah.
"Yep, time to hold hands."
And they have developed a partnership.
Yeah, so I mean,
So those are our E3 predictions. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Happy E3 week, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
bye.